For a limited time only, you can get The Athletic for £1 per month for 6 months. See the link in the description to sign up now. In the past, international tournaments had a big impact on the transfer market. They've been shop windows within which valuations can spike, where clubs might spot the solution to an existing need, or where a previously unknown star might announce himself. But that's not true anymore. Why not? Well, firstly, as a Premier League scout told The Athletic, it's because there's just too much information. The situation where somebody who wasn't known being signed purely off the back of a summer tournament performance is in the past, he says. But not that far in the past. James Rodriguez joined Real Madrid for £71 million from Monaco after winning the Golden Boot at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Mario Mandzukic and his representatives had their bargaining power improved when his impressive showing at Euro 2012 preceded a move from Wolfsburg to Bayern Munich later that summer. Tottenham, meanwhile, saw fit to pay almost £14 million to sign Roman Pavlyuchenko from Spartak Moscow after he'd been an attacking star in Euro 2008. Further back in 2002, when Senegal reached the quarter-finals of the World Cup, English clubs suddenly developed a sharpened interest in African players. El Hadji Diouf joined Liverpool before the tournament began, Salif Diao quickly joined him, while Amdi Faye moved to Portsmouth and the late Papa Bouba Diop was signed by Fulham. And going back further still, Patrick Berger and Karol Poborski both earned moves to England after impressive performances at Euro 96, while Pavel Nedved was signed by Lazio after scoring against the Italian national team in the group stage. So tournaments can still have an influence, another agent says, but more of a subtle one. A player's club can value him at a higher price, and the wages that he can command might also rise. Often though, it's a case of someone who did better than you thought they would in a summer tournament, and then interest being firmed up as a result. So, competitions still influence the market, but do national teams and players still have the capacity to set the agenda? No, says a leading agent, because too many hands have been burnt in the past. Clubs won't buy from the Euros. Players that have been bought from tournaments haven't been good, and in any case, clubs are not suddenly going to watch a tournament and make a decision on a player. Everyone knows everyone who is playing in a tournament. You see, the knowledge is the key. Whereas 20 or 30 years ago, clubs depended on first-hand information gathered by small scouting teams, today, because of growing wealth, huge recruitment departments, and the exponential rise in available data and scouting tools, the same blind spots just don't exist. The Premier League's most organised clubs, in theory at least, just aren't that easily swayed. Targets are in place long before a tournament even begins, and plans are drafted over 2 or 3 windows rather than a few weeks. The process of recruiting for next season is done now, Leeds United sporting director Victor Orta characterising that change during his appearance on the Phil Hay podcast back in May. One video cannot change our perception of a player. In the past, the big competition was the sole case for a player. Now, if a player arrived at the Euros under-21 and I don't have a single report about him, then I would need to sack 2 of my people. Dan Ashworth, Brighton's technical director, agrees and warns against making decisions based on small samples. I'm always really nervous about scouting in a tournament, where it's only a 3 to 7 game window, very condensed, he told The Athletic. You see a lot of examples of prices overinflated for players that have done well at one tournament but never reproduced that form. I've never wanted to be too influenced, but what you've got is players there who you've been tracking for 18 months. Which of course isn't to say that tournaments no longer play a part in the process. A senior football analyst at a leading English club tells The Athletic that a tournament becomes almost like an additional check, whether that's under bigger pressure or on a bigger stage. People are more likely to believe that they can rate someone accurately if they're playing against players that they know. If you think about a team like Czech Republic or even Scotland, there will be people who, rightly or wrongly, will think that they can get a better reading of a player if they are playing against top Premier League and Champions League players. There's a definite element of that which is fair. So, while the football world is a small place and getting smaller, and rarely do players now emerge from nowhere, these summers of international football can still alter perceptions, even if they no longer hold quite so much sway over the actual decisions. For a limited time only, you can now get The Athletic for £1 per month for 6 months. During the Euros, we've had guest articles from the likes of Yaya Toure, Scott McTominay and Emma Hayes, to add to the work of our writers David Ornstein, Michael Cox, Amy Lawrence and many, many more. The Athletic is home to some of the best football coverage online. Plus, you can watch Tifo videos and listen to Tifo podcasts on the app completely ad-free. So, Join us at The Athletic today and sign up for £1 per month for 6 months. Thank you for watching today's video.